All right, ladies and gents, I saw this game last night, and I just had to show you. And I know you guys are starved for team game content. I know. Whether it's low elo legends or high elo legends, you guys want team games. And team games are awesome in Age of Empires. It's just typically, I upload a lot of 1v1, so I've got something special for you here. Now, I'm going to introduce the players. I believe, based on what I just saw on their player profiles, that this might have been part of some type of an event. While I'm very familiar with a lot of the players in the Argentinian community, I don't really know what event it was. So maybe someone can clarify for me in the comments. But I'll introduce the teams at least. In the yellow, we have Fac90. And then he's teamed up with Nahuel, who is over here. And I should introduce the civs too, because this is hugely important. We have Kumans for the yellow player. Then we've got Indians for the teal player. In the blue, we have Manos, who's playing as the Spanish. And then we have La Ultima Sombra playing as the Teutons over here. And this is very clearly a serious game because they have stacked the civilizations nicely. Kumans can build 2 TCs in the feudal age. One of the better arena civs in the game. Did I say... I think I said Kumans, but I'm going to move to Teutons next. Teutons, very hard to stop them. Their paladins are insane, but slow. They've got siege, they've got infantry, and they've got eco. They've got monks. And then the Spanish, they have very strong conquistadors. So it is like... Oh, and I should probably talk about the Indians. Well, if you're expecting to see conquistadors and you're expecting to see paladins, having a civ with the best camels in the game is always a go-to. So, again, I can't give you any real background on why they were playing this, but I watched it, and let me tell you, it's pretty intense, okay? So, a bit more background on the players. I do know Manos quite well. He's a top 100 player. And then Nahuel I know as well. I actually played him in the first round of Wandering Warriors Cup. He was seed 77, so he's also top 100. The other players I don't know as well, so it's possible they're lower rated. But based on what I've seen so far, it looks like they've still got some talent. Pretty clear on how they play this so far. Their build orders look fairly standard. Maybe they're known as something else. I'm not too sure. So I want to talk about 2v2 Arena, because I think 2v2 Arena can produce some epic games, okay? Arena is a map where a lot of players like to boom. But strategies that you could go for would be castle drop, or you could go ram push. And if you have Kumans can make rams in the feudal age. In theory, you could go rams, ram down your guys' walls to open them up, and then have your teammate run in with something strong like knights. Now, in this case, the Indian player can't make knights, so that's kind of a bad example. But that is legitimately an insane strategy on 2v2 Arena. Is have one player go rams, open up a player, and then have that person be full undefeated. What's funny is the guy on the other side's complete free boom. He's completely safe. He'll have an amazing economy. And then comebacks are maybe possible, but 2v2 Arena isn't just booming. All right? There's many different things you can do. Whereas I think with 3v3 and 4v4 Arena, if you try and do what I just said, and you try and kill one player with 2 people, there's going to be 3 players that come back and kill your 2. So the math doesn't quite add up. But I like the balance on 2v2 Arena. Anyways, I should just say this because I don't normally cast with basic capture age, but we have to for a 2v2. The player populations are at the top, okay? The team populations are here. It shows the eco and it shows the military count. It also shows the resources for every player down towards the bottom right. That's going to take some getting used to for me. Apart from that, you can still see the technologies and all that, so... But this is going to develop into something special. I'm looking forward to it, as I think the expected thing right now is the Indian player will probably go fast castle and boom. The Kuman player, I was thinking, would go fast feudal age into the second TC, but I don't know if we're going to see that now. And then over here, we have the Teuton player going fast feudal age. Like, what? Very rare to see Teutons go fast feudal in Arena. Normally, they do not do that. They make a lot of farms. They go up to castle age, and they add town centers. And then over here, you've got Manos. The expectation with Spanish, very predictable civ, is also to go fast castle into conquistadors. If you've got a map for it, you should do it because the conquistadors are really strong. And Arena is definitely one of those. Ignacio in chat is saying it's pronounced Nawel. So I don't say not who well. It's like now well. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. The only reason I passed Spanish class was because my buddy was from Guatemala, and a lot of our grade was based on homework scores. So if you think about that, I'm sure you can understand how I passed Spanish class, but trust me, I didn't do that good of a job. Okay, so I think maybe this build order from Red is... Actually, I'm a little confused. I'm still really confused. Is he going to add a stable right now? Ooh, I just thought of something. Okay, what if he goes for scouts? There's the stable. And scouts for map control, right? You can see all the scouts are out and about. And then if he has map control, it allows Monos the freedom to run forward with his castle. To be fully transparent, while I did see some of this game, I did not see all of this game. So there are some things I'm not sure on. I'm not sitting over here well aware faking it or anything. And wow, great teamwork here from the other team. I love this. Oh man, the blocking. Look at him blocking the scout. And they want to kill that scout, man. Scouts are so important. And that is going to be a dead scout there for Monos. So good teamwork from Nawel and Fak over here. As Fak is going for the second TC. Okay. T90 Spanish. Yup. My Spanish is incredible. There's the market. I kind of like what Yellow's doing here. I told you how pressure is common on this map. So he's making his buildings just in case pressure were to come in. And then here in the center, we've got the scouts. And so Teal's probably thinking, well, this is amazing for me because I've got one scout and against his one scout, my teammate's out there. But now he's probably telling his teammate on voice, like, hey, he's got two scouts there. Be careful. Meanwhile, we've got the blacksmith and the market. But I personally would be a little confused by Red. Because, okay, and I'm definitely seeing that this player must be lower elo than Monos. But, like, overall, I'd just be like, what? Why did he add scouts now? Because with a fast castle build and adding scouts, the scouts would come in a little later. If I had to guess what their elos were, I would say that maybe what this event is, and I'd love to give you guys more background if we edit this in later for the YouTube channel. But maybe it's an event where they have a higher rated player with kind of like a mid-rated player. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from everything I'm seeing so far. Because Yellow's going for the two TCs, but it hasn't been quite optimized. And Red is also going for a scout play, but it's not as optimized as higher level players would do. But, like, that makes this all the more interesting, doesn't it? Because then we're going to have, as we have, oh my goodness, Yellow sending resources to Teal. How serious are they taking this? But yeah, we're going to have top player versus top player. And here comes Monos, and I was correct. Monos wants to drop a castle right on Teal's face, and he wouldn't have felt comfortable doing that otherwise. So if you look at the stone count for Nahuel, I think they're expecting this. As he has actually received some stone from his teammate over here. So this is what we call sling. I like how capture rates also shows the tax as well. Because when you send resources to an ally, there is a bit of a tax on it. YouTube can't see this, but YouTube, my stream chat is telling you to take a shower. But don't worry, they smell here too. Okay, we're going to see the castle drop. No clue what that gate was about, but there's the castle drop. Spanish builders build faster. That castle's going to go up really quickly. And so Teal's thought process is, let's add the second TC and let's boom. Indian villagers are cheap. Let's add more of them. And let's add a defensive castle with a double layer house wall because we know this is going to get messy. Meanwhile, Red is still pretty far away from clicking up. But it's very serious over here. Very, very serious. So I like the strategy from Red and Blue. I really think this is a fun strat. But I also like the counter to the strategy. I don't know if they faced it before. It almost feels like they must have. Or maybe when they saw the scouts as early as they did, they thought that this would happen. So really good thinking all around, as Monos is going to send out a missionary right now. And he has his first conquistador, and they're trying to break through. Now remember villager counts, okay? Because the villager counts are up here. So it's 39 for yellow, it's 32 for teal, and then the other team's behind. So this is pretty good so far for the defending team. However, they are only defending right now. That's all they're up to. And there's no offensive pressure, and that's the risk on Nomad. There's no way to counterattack or do anything right now. Mono sees the castle, sees the house wall, and he's like, what? What is this, man? He's probably surprised by that. And what they might do now is head over to yellow. Yellow, being the lower rated player, might get a little scared to hear that the pressure's coming over. I love the missionary, though. Look at him go. Guys, I really think Spanish missionaries should be able to pick up relics. What do you think about that? And I say that because Spanish aren't seen as like super dominant right now in a lot of situations. It would give them a little boost potentially in on Arabia, and while I guess it could make them a little stronger on Arena as well, at least we'd see missionaries a little bit more too. I don't know. I think missionaries being able to pick up relics wouldn't be the worst, because all they're really good for now is healing, because they have 7 range compared to a monk's 9 range. Wow, we have elephant archers for teal and a big Vil lead because Indian Vils are cheap, and he's going 4 TCs. Right now, it kind of feels like the strategy, at least over a teal side, has been completely countered. Spanish missionaries need a little something if you want to make them. Yeah, exactly. They need a little something more. So, essentially, what Manos and La Ultima Sombra has said. They said, oh, that's cute. You think you're going to defend your base? That's great, teal. Go ahead. Have fun with that. Have fun with that. We're going to go over to your buddy. And what sucks for yellow is he's not going to be on the way to Castle Age to drop a defensive castle because he's been sending his resources to teal to prop him up. I'm not sure if anyone out there relates, maybe being the weaker player on their team or something, but kind of sucks to see that small guy getting ganged up on now, but this is what you have to do if you're Monos. But if you're La Ultima Sombra. Not bad from yellow so far. He dropped the tower here. He drops the tower here. He has his tower here. We will have 2 stable knights from red, and you know that pressure's coming. We could also see a castle, possibly. Actually, a castle isn't even needed here. The houses are going to go down, and knights can go directly underneath the tower. As we have a trade cart! I think that's a misclick. If he's like me, he probably... Oh, he deleted it. If he's like me, he probably didn't change his hotkeys for his market for a while, and he accidentally used a trade cart hotkey. All right, missionary's going to run away. Here come the scouts. Here come the conquistadors. Meanwhile, teal has 64 Vils. Monos is 38. Like, teal almost has... I guess teal and yellow have an insane Vil lead. This team almost has double the eco lead compared to red and blue, but they also don't have a lot of military to show for it. And this certainly isn't good. I mean, the scouts will go down, but still, this sucks. And now knights are going to be coming in, and yellow could almost be defeated here. I mean, he's running away. It's not like he should be able to do anything. He's stuck in feudal age. And blue making the conks, still just producing those conks. He's still 1 TC. He's imping right now. He's imping. He's going up to imp with 38 Vils. Now, what would be so good for teal is if he could ram this castle down before imp, because that would eliminate the conks, but also eliminate the potential for trebs. And normally, if you're going to be fighting underneath TCs, you want to get the final armor first. We didn't see that from red. Instead, he got the attack. Would have liked to see him get the armor, as I think blue and red really need to take out yellow. They need to take his TCs out now. Good all-in aggression from red. I'll give him credit there. Could be a little better off with the production, possibly, but I think this TC is just a couple minutes away from going down. And certainly yellow's eco is not contributing much. So we have, how many TCs is this? What? It's like 6 TCs for teal. He knows he has to carry the team. He actually has more villagers than red and blue do combined. And he's also imping, and he will try and make trebuchets, I think. Teal, yeah, teal's got a lot of TCs right now. Red's going to add the second one. Monos decided to pull the conquistadors back. I'm not sure I like that move. I guess, but what he is doing right now is he's prepping to focus here with Treb. So I actually do like the move. Because he knows he needs to protect his Treb, so that's fine. Red is also murdering everything. As Yellow, I'll try and find his KD here. Where is the total KD? Yeah, Yellow's KD is not looking too good. He's lost a lot of his villagers. And I'm actually going to keep it on the KD at the moment, because the vill count can all be shown here. The resources, I think, will be important, but I'll have to just move back and forth, I guess. But holy cow, this pressure, though. Where is it? What do we have here? I guess that'll work? Yeah, that'll work. Well, here comes Treb number 1 for Monos. And I guess my issue is it's only going to be Treb number 1, and then Treb number 2. Up against a whole lot of production from Teal. How does a 40 villager player compete against 102 villagers? It's also double castle for Teal, but Teal's not actually making Trebs because he's not an imp yet. And now he's going for those trebuchets. And he's also repairing a lot right now. Again, Red, this is your time, buddy. You need to completely defeat Yellow. Take Yellow out of the game. He's focusing on 2 town centers, which is good for him. But he really needs to be killing vills. And I think the second you get full attack, full armor, forget about the vills. Just take the TC. And then the vills are going to be free pickings. As Yellow is just hoping and praying this doesn't get any worse. Oh, God. Monos wants to drop another castle. He's crazy. Another castle right here. I think he needs to delete this one and use that stone to repair. Okay. This castle's kind of a distraction, I guess. Teal could lose his castle. The conks and the donks are here. That could maybe get through here, actually, Monos. This is ridiculous pressure, as we have camels for Teal, but he doesn't quite have the numbers just yet, and the castle falls. I think this castle for Monos has actually paid off. I think the towers for Yellow have paid off, too, because it's just been a distraction for Red. So, again, I'd like to see take out the TC, but how can you argue with these results? I'm actually going to switch back to the resources. I think this is more relevant right now, because time is of the essence for everyone. And I'm looking at Teal's resources. I mean, he can still make more trebs to push this back. But he doesn't have too many of them. And now he doesn't have castles, people. He doesn't have castles. So maybe he can't make trebs. As he now has heavy camel, which obviously is an imp upgrade. But conks and missionaries are not too bad. If you convert the camels and then you have conquistadors getting hits on the others, this could work super well. The Yellow's at 46 vills. Obviously contributes nothing, though, in feudal age. Red's still 2 TCs. And well played, Monos. I mean, this game, I told you it was a banger, is so good. But also really impressive play from Monos. It was just stubborn enough with this other castle. And now, poor Teal has to wait until he researches chemistry to get any siege to push this. Camels are not great against archer fire. You obviously don't want to donate any conversions. But Monos, there's a cost here. He's not producing a lot of vills. He's still on 1 TC. So if this doesn't work at any point, things could go horribly, horribly wrong. All right. Didn't start the conversions at the proper time, so he's going to hop in and out of his castle. The camels come in. They'll quick walling from Monos. Again, these are quality players. He's keeping his trebs protected. And here comes Red now. Red's going to support. With double castle fire, a few conversions, and then also the conks. So it's actually not bad for Monos. This also means Yellow can breathe now. We should see bomber cannons coming out from Teal, who's super cramped right now. He's actually pop-capped, so he's making houses. I kind of like the knights coming over here, and I kind of don't. Because now they have 2 armies against 1, and Yellow doesn't have an army. But at the same time, they could completely defeat Yellow. So there's a trade-off. And Heavy Camel is really good up against the knights, but now they've got double the military pressure. It's still a massive build difference here, but Red's all over Teal. Teal's got idols. Teal has to respect this. Teal has to react to this. And because of this, Teal could make some big mistakes. As he's still trying to make bombard cannons. But guys, Monos is here with his trebs now. Still, forget about vills, but he's still continuing production of conquistadors. Still so many camels. The thing about conks, though, is you don't really need imp upgrades on them for them to be strong. I'm checking now. He doesn't have Bloodlines. I feel like an upgrade like Bloodlines would be something he could afford with his eco. As Teal desperately goes in to take out the siege. But at what cost? I mean, he hasn't really taken out the siege yet. Okay, he takes 1. He's going to take 2. The bomber cannon could take 3. He take 4, maybe. Okay, bomber cannons need to back away. Meanwhile, Yellow's like, woo-wee, I'm going to go Castle Age. Because life is hard. But at least I can breathe now. And the conks and the knights and everything working. All red, take out the bomber cannons. They need to take out those bomber cannons. And here they will. However, this bomber cannon should take out the Treb first. Should. Oh, it doesn't. That said, this bomber cannon stayed alive. So I guess it was an even trade. As Teal will lose another TC. Man, if Teal would have been able to leave with some vills earlier and have farming eco out here, I think it would have made all the difference. The problem is when you get pushed on arena, you're just stuck. Also, again, Mono's that maybe saved his Trebs. Does he have a barracks yet? Still no barracks? Man, his eco is so tiny. He's not creating vills. He's just all in conks. The idle TC time must be insane for him right now. Here we go. You've got the continued pressure, but now Yellow, who's at 62 vills, could contribute in some ways. I don't know what you make. Maybe Knights? I think Knights could work. Also, I think slinging would work as well. If Teal just had more gold, maybe he'd be okay. But it's hard for me to know as resources are going over to Teal. If it's better for Yellow to contribute with his own military, or if all those resources should go over to Teal. Yeah, Teal's being told to hold on here. As it's really looking rough for him. Still 111 vills, though. Red, 3 TCs. You're definitely seeing the lower elo, though he's played super well. Queuing up those stables with knights constantly. And then here come the camels. Looks like a good engagement for the camels. The knights should go down, and a lot of the conks are going down. That's the first good engagement Teal has had in a while. Wow, that was really good. And maybe after that engagement, if you're Teal, you tell Yellow, I'm actually okay. Just tell me where I can get some gold. Maybe sneak out and take the gold. Yellow's coming in with his own camels. It's tricky, man. Still only 20 military versus 30, which is insane. And a 70 vill difference, but a lot of those vills for Teal are not working right now. So look at this. Family gathering. No one has a job. Also, I really like how Red has continued the support. I like how he ended up getting his full upgrades. You look at Yellow. Yellow's got to catch up with these upgrades. Yellow and Teal desperate to take out the Trebs because the Trebs have been the key to this type of a push. And they only take out one of those Trebs, and that's not the first time they were close. Okay, here it comes. This is what I was talking about. You need to escape. If you can just get a couple TCs out here, at least your farming eco will be safe. It's one thing to not have gold, but to not have wood and farming eco too really hurts. So guys, I'm going to pause right now. And guys, I'm streaming this, FYI. So people on YouTube are like, what? I don't see chat. We couldn't do chat because of the 2v2. Who do you think wins this game right now? The red and the blue team or the teal and the yellow team? If you had to pick right now who wins, what would you say? Because Teal is escaping, but as he escapes, he's probably going to lose, like, I mean, there's 48 villagers right here, and then there's 15 in the TC. That's 60 vills. He does not have any army queued, because he's not floating any resources. He doesn't have food right now. And red is completely untouched. Yellow is kind of helping by sending resources. Okay, people are saying teal and yellow, red and blue, red and blue, red and blue. Okay, the point is it's even, okay? The point is it's even, okay. Also, can we talk about this? Can we have a conversation about this Treb that's on fire right next to the farmers? Oh, come on, Teal. This is such a big deal. The most important area of your eco is right here. Come on. Come on, dude. You could take out the Trebs. You're going to die anyways. No! He was a faithful farmer to his final days. All right, here comes Red with villagers. And I bet you Red has a plan. He does have the stone in the bank to maybe build a castle, so here he comes. Meanwhile, the fiery Treb, which still hasn't been repaired for some reason, is going for the TC. And as I said, Teal's got so much crap in here. 66 bills. Red's got a lot of knights. This many knights would beat the camels for sure. Now, the camels are actually leaving right now. But what's funny is blue and red are now going to make him pay, as the villagers have to try and evacuate. But now red's villagers could get cleared up, and red's like, okay, maybe that's a mistake. Maybe we shouldn't do that. And also, yellow has intercepted some of red's stuff, and has a villager here too. So this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. Yellow's camels and knights are simply just not contributing anything. Teal's #1 job right now is somehow keep his vills alive. That's his #1 job. Yellow's #1 job is send Teal resources. Well, he's got 2 jobs. And then somehow make military. And the bombard cannon sniping the Trebs are so important, because it at least means that Teal can keep his vills alive. There go the bombard cannons. The conks notice that. The conks will go in after them, but have to pull away. I've never seen bombard cannons so far into someone's eco like this, but it makes sense. Here comes red with that castle. I like the castle. I think this castle's fine. And yeah, yellow just made 2 houses in front of the gate. That's the funniest play of the game so far. I don't know if he sent the vill intentionally for that. There's a lot of reasons he could have sent the vills forward, and then maybe he just decided to do that. But wow, the knights and the conks take out the bombard cannons underneath the TC. And this TC should fall right now. Also, now red's knights are pathing further away. And he's further away from getting reinforcements. Yellow could not deny that castle, though. Teutons get free murder holes. And Teal's villagers are going to be killed. As for the first time in a long time, it's looking like the eco number is actually going to even out. Keep in mind, Monos is still 1 TC. Always producing conks, always microing conks, but the guy doesn't have a lot of food floating. This is where the game ends. Pretty sure this is where the game ends. Now, red's lower rated, right? Higher rated players would never let these villagers escape. You got to patrol a few of them away from the TC so they attack units. Don't have the whole group on the TC, because then villagers can actually escape. But I guess there's a castle here, and the conks are also blocking the escape. So I don't know. There's even a sheep. Teal thinks he's going to be back in Dark Age. But Teal drops a castle here to protect this, and will now be able to add a TC and even another TC, as he's not finished yet. He still has just as many villagers as Monos does. It's 170 pop for Monos' team. It's 150 pop for Nawel's team. And now, of course, Nawel's going to lose more villagers. And he went from having as many villagers as the entire team on the other side did to having 30 villagers. And, of course, he has to reboom. It's going to take forever. So now, the pressure is on yellow. Now, and this is what the enemy wanted, the pressure is on the lower rated player. Teal is kind of out of it. There's not much Teal can do. Granted, he's a good player, and he's got cheap bills, so if there's ever a civ to reboom with, it would be Indians. Like, you can't take your golden stone in your base anymore. You're kind of taking some of yellow's resources, and yellow has to do this all on his own. Oh, and by the way, yellow's in Castle Age. That said, he is making camels. He doesn't have full upgrades, but he does have a lot of camels. And red and blue are both in castle. So, I mean, with this many camels and maybe some rams with Cumans, because Cumans get capped rams, there are some possibilities. Also, yellow... yellow did that again. Though I don't think he fully blocked it. That's amazing. That cracks me up, man. Look, red's trying to run out. There's a tree there. Oh my god, that's so funny. By the way, Monos is booming. He's adding a second TC. So we might see a little less conch production now, because producing conchs out of 2 castles and villagers out of 2 TCs is not that possible. Oh, blue is imp. I'm sorry. I forgot, actually, because I'm an idiot, but also because blue hasn't made trebs in a while. That blue's been an imp, excuse me. So he can make trebs, and now they want to protect the trebs, of course, so they can push these castles. Oh, that's 3. Oh, sorry. That's his 3rd TC. He's got idols here. You can tell he doesn't look back home much. Nor should he. when it's all about winning these types of battles. Pretty decent engagement here for yellow, I think, considering he's fighting on his own. But he takes the Treb, which was really the biggest thing, and he runs away, and it still doesn't look pretty. Now he is on the way to the Imperial Age. This is like musical freaking chairs with what age people are in. This is insane. So now he's imping. Red is also imping, but yellow will be an imp first. And I think it really comes down to how yellow and red perform against each other currently, because both blue and teal are going to try and reboom. Blue had to be so all in to put teal in his current spot, and still teal's only behind by 10 vils. But obviously teal has no army, and rebooming is a skill. He's on 4 TCs. It's easier to reboom when you had your eco upgrades before, whereas for blue, he's catching up with certain things. Like, no wheelbarrow really hurts. Okay, yellow needs to protect this area because he can tell that the pressure's swinging. And to do that, he takes a fight, and that's a really bad fight. And these camels are all really weak. And the theme this game has been Monos and Sombra having a lot of military. Not necessarily eco, but military. And this military is just going to kill everything. And they could actually run in. I mean, they could take out teal's TCs here. I think if you're going to focus on anything here, maybe you focus on... I mean, it's hard to say. I was going to say maybe focus on yellow, but it's really hard to say. As here comes red to drop another castle. And again, he's Teutons. So he would drop that castle. He has no support, though. Yellow pops out with camels to deny that. That will get denied. Those villagers, of course, not collecting resources. Most of yellow's villagers are collecting resources. That said, he really needs gold right now. Teal had TC'd his gold. Now Teal's losing the TC and trying to keep it up. I guess the castle's kind of helping here, so they're trying to keep as much of the enemy military here as possible. Red's about to hit imp in a second, but red just lost a lot of his knights. And yellow was able to deny the castle, but also clean up knights. And Teal's still standing there with that town center. Now yellow will repair. And this is all there is to protect, excuse me, that one Treb. And red's getting Cavalier, red's getting armor. That's all exciting and whatnot, but where's your army, buddy? Hey, by the way, Cumans don't get heavy camel, right? I think they don't get heavy camel. That's another complication. Like, he's just got the attack upgrade, and that's something he could have had in Castle Age this entire time. So Cavalier with Teutons having the extra armor, I think, does beat regular camel, no problem. That said, red doesn't have the numbers that he might have had they not dove here. But you can understand why they would. I told you I was losing my mind when I saw this game. I was actually talking to Dave on Discord. Not that I don't pay attention to Dave, but I had this up in the background. And I was just back and forth. In my mind, I'm like, okay, this team won. This is over. Oh, this is over. Oh, no, this is over. That team won. This team won. Just back and forth. Okay, so now I think what we should see from red, because he's primarily up against camel, and I know we made arguments that you could continue to go with Cavalier, but I think you need to switch Halp. They don't see this yet, but Teal is going to start making heavy camel, and that's going to make it more complicated. Remember, Teal's been in imp, so he can just mix in some camels of his own. I think what you should want to do is add barracks, and blue has actually surpassed his teammate with villagers now. I think every player has had... Okay, let me pause. Let's think about this. Is it true to say that every player has been at the bottom of the eco leaderboard and the top of the eco leaderboard at this point? Blue is at the bottom once. Yellow is at the bottom once. Teal was at the bottom once. Maybe it's red. Red hasn't been... No, red is now at the bottom. I'm not sure about the top, but I can tell you the vill counts have been all over this game, and I love it. Yellow's got... I genuinely was going to say he has a base here. Holy crap. Man, that's so much eco. That's 40 villagers collecting stone and gold. And he's also going to try and drop a castle there. Here comes red with a Treb, as they will try and push Teal. It feels like Teal doesn't have enough to defend this on his own right now. Yellow's got the army, though. He just doesn't have any Imperial Age upgrades. That castle goes up. I bet you red will never expect that. I feel like yellow has kind of outplayed red over the last 5 to 10 minutes. Would you guys agree? You could argue red had more to do, but just a lot of the small things that yellow has done has really worked wonders for his team. He kept his pro player alive. Yellow's played really well. Now, apart from the upgrades, dude, he doesn't have any imp upgrades. Out of the blacksmith or out of the stable, which of course is not available. And wow, they pushed this back. So they will continue to make their stand. And I don't think red has necessarily noticed this yet, as red's now down to 60 vills, guys. So now it's time for Monos to try and carry his team. And Monos is in the Imperial Age. He's at 92 villagers. But the double camel combination has worked well. And again, I'm just wondering, will we see infantry? Because I think infantry is what is needed here. Now, another thing that's crazy right now is that normally at this stage on Arena, teams are wanting to trade. I guess red and blue could try and trade. But that's not even so easy because yellow could always pressure them at any time. Obviously, for teal and yellow to trade, that's just like... that just feels impossible. So, I think the gold in here is really important. And teal's actually still had villagers in here. And he might actually take that gold. That's something that maybe blue and red should have had control of. But it is 270 population versus 180 population with the team pop. And now you have yellow and teal pushing back. They have more economy. They have more military. And red is just, oh man, its vill count's so low. And you could say the same for Monos. When compared to what teal has been through, you could say the same for Monos. So they have the castles now, but they can't push. And now they're starting to get pushed a little bit. Teal will send his trebs over here to push red. As red is about to make trebuchets to take that castle out. We have them now focusing here. And Monos will see this. And Monos is going to try and deny this because he needs that gold right now. This is an unbelievable game. Also, I know teal hasn't necessarily had, like, the highlights over the last couple minutes. But what a sick reboom. Yeah, he's Indians. Yeah, whatever. He's got 44 freaking military and 100 vills after losing his whole base. Like, what? He's also got trebs over here. So he's pressuring the proper spots, right? This will result in taking red out almost. Meaning that Monos is all that's left. As we see Imperial Camel for teal now. Also, the communication between yellow and teal has been so good with slinging too. Like, I think every time he needs resources, he receives the resources. Such a cool game. Such a cool game. I'd say the biggest priority now is just gold. If teal and yellow can fight gold, I think they can take this. They need it. Red comes out. He snipes one of the trebs. He's going to try and snipe another. I think he can get that one and the next one. That's good because he could actually... oh, no! He can't take out yellow's castle because the final treb shot from teal opened this. And red... okay, red sees it. Good job from red. He's actually going to place a house there. But yeah, this gold is so crucial because that's what teal doesn't have a lot of right now. And somehow he's still been able to get 25 camels, and he's going to have Imperial Camel. And guys, Imperial Camel just absolutely shreds anything on a horse. An exception, I suppose, could be Conks, but you need to have a lot more than 18 Conquistadors. You need to have 50. And even then, you're running. You're hitting, and then you're running. Imp Camel. Not quite full upgrades. There's actually no attack upgrades on the camels, so that's something they'll have to catch up on. But teal's probably saying now, hey, finish your castle. Like, I've got you. Finish your castle. Get that castle up. And yellow's now sending the vills to finish that castle. So, yellow's also losing vills to red's raids. So, good job from red here. And red is going to need to add more eco, though. That's what's tricky here. You need to get back up and reboom. Everyone's had a moment where they've had to reboom, and this is definitely his moment. Now you've had time, if you're teal, to maybe think about some siege here, which he's now done. I'm telling you, man, teal is a freaking fighter, man. Having just played him in a tourney, he is a fighter. And I love his coordination with his teammate. Now at this point, they have more vills, they have more army. This has been the case for the last few minutes, but it was not the case for the entirety of the game. Imp Camels also shred buildings, so So no gold for you, Monos. Also no TC. If this area gets lost, guys, teal and yellow can trade again. They can take whatever's gold is left here. They can do so much. And then they could maybe finally finish off the game. Monos is going to go light cav. I have to question that. I think it's the wrong unit choice. Your opponent is going full camel and full light cav. I think you've got to go halbs in this situation. I think that's your go-to. Granted, there are things the enemy can switch into. But I think going light cav is the wrong play. I think you've got to go halb. Red I can understand. He's at 68 bills, so it's a little different there. But they're desperate. They're desperate. They're repairing the castle to try and keep it up. Teal's just keeping an eye on everything, though. He'll know if this ever gets addressed. He'll know if army comes in. And there's the conks. Wow. So, 21 conquistadors. They do have bloodlines now. I think they have bloodlines for quite a bit. That's the army right now for Monos. Monos has... I guess this doesn't tell you, right? Does he have 75 on food? Is that what that number is? Okay, he's got a ton of farms, so I can understand light cav with that. But maybe also mixing in halbs would be the answer. I'd like to see a switch back over to red. Red is trying. He struggled to keep his vills working, right? Rebooming is tough because the structure that you have in a normal game has kind of left your brain. How do they counter 43 Imperial Camels? I don't think they can counter 43 Imperial Camels. There's no way. Too many. You can one-shot the camels, and that's great. And great job for Monos to actually sit in the choke point. Did I take it back? Did I say conks can beat imp camels? Because look at that. He's got a treb in there. This is cute. Well, best case scenario for him is that fight, I guess. Red, 70 population. Yellow at 150. Teal at 160. Mono's at 150. The imp camels still win. They still win. And I think this is the end. Guys, when I watched this game, as I said, I was going in and out constantly, like, because I was having a combo with Dave, catching up on life. And I just could not believe that after Teal got completely displaced, that this was somehow winnable. Yellow is now into Blue's eco. Of course, he's attacking a farm, but he'll kill the villagers here shortly. I think the reason that Monos and Red continue to play on is probably because they can't believe it either. You know, there's a part of them. Look at this. Monos tried to make a mining camp here. But the Teal's been there the whole time. There's probably a part of them that is playing on because this is apparently important as well. I think when I downloaded the rec, it says something about a semifinal. So, definitely was an event, and I believe they're all Argentinian. So, maybe an event in the Latin American community. But how Yellow came back when he was basically dead, and how Teal came back when he was basically dead is just nuts to me. Now, I can't wait to look at the capture rate stats as Monos is getting raided to death. I can't wait to look at how many villagers were created in total and how many villas were killed in total, because we do have stats for that. This is where all the tiny desperation moves happen. Like, Monos trying to treb this down. Obviously, there's army here that can take out the treb no problem. So they'll realize that soon. Mono's down to 98 villagers. He's got army everywhere. He's getting raided over here as well. They just they didn't completely forget about Red, but they did need to focus on Red because Red wasn't a threat anymore. And Red's raiding with scouts. Let's go. Tootin' scouts. But the GG's called. Mono says he's dead. And what a ridiculous arena game. I loved it. And I'm not sure what Yellow just said. He said Re Contra. Can't translate that one for you. Sorry. But he said GG. Maybe he said great game. Maybe he said well played. Maybe he said insane one. And maybe he was talking to his teammate too. I don't know. I think they were probably on voice because of all the signaling and no text chat. But whew. So I think the deciding moment, because we know a lot of craziness happened and there's a lot of really important moments. But I think the deciding moment was Red trying to drop that castle and taking the fight against Teal's TC. Ray Contra means super good game. Okay, good to know. I mean, it was insane game, right? Red had about 80 or 90 villagers, right? So he had about 80 or 90 vills, and then he ran in here and dropped a castle, and they also had both their armies attacking teal. It's easy to say now, because for them, they're probably thinking, oh, they've got nothing. Let's destroy them. If they don't have army, let's destroy them. But red lost so many knights there. He lost so many knights. And then when it came to cavalier versus regular camel, and then a few heavy camels sprinkled in, he didn't have the numbers. Now, in hindsight, what probably would have been better was you save your numbers, you get your cavalier upgrades, and while you're doing that, you make it more of a casual defensive castle like here, or here or something, and then you make a tech switch into halberdier. So you win the early fights with your cavalier, you buy the time for yourself to go halbs, and then you can do okay. But instead what happened is it was kind of too aggressive. I mean, the whole game was aggressive, right? But there was finally a moment where they overextended, and it was losing a sixth or an eighth of the economy, and then it was losing your army, and then it it still doesn't take away from what yellow and teal were able to do. That was incredible, but that ended up making all the difference. Okay. Well, crazy game. Crazy game. And we've got capture age here, new and improved capture age. I say new and improved, but there's a lot of data on our screens that I don't really want to go through right now. Hopefully this will be interesting for all you data nerds out there. For me, it overwhelms me, and I want my old version back. It's so much. I gotta explain it, man. Anyways, for vills, there should be a stat here for capture age with society, right? Okay, this is interesting. So, total is 124 in that game for red. 189 for blue. 265 for teal. And 204 for yellow. So, when the going got tough, yellow and teal just pumped out more villagers. They lost so many. But they continued to add more villagers. Do we still have the Eco KD? I'd actually maybe like to see that here. Eco KD. KD's there. Eco KD. Okay, so you can see the KD there. And just look at how many villagers were killed by red. Did an incredible job killing villagers. Same with blue, of course. But in the end, I guess he just wasn't able to reboom as much. Or able to have as good of eco behind that. But, I mean, still was incredible. I mean, again, when I asked people midway through who was going to win that game, it really felt like red and blue were going to win that. But the way yellow was playing, the way teal was playing, always felt like maybe they'd have a chance too. They did sling, right? I think without the sling, they probably die. It would have been a whole lot worse for teal if he didn't receive any resources, let's put it that way. But food brought in, stone brought in, gold brought in was just incredible. It was a great back and forth game. A shout out to all four that were involved here. I actually really liked that as well, to have the middle elo players or the clearly lower elo players teamed up with the big boys. That was fun. I think we should maybe do that more frequently. I could maybe set some things up, play with some people from the community against some others, because that would have been a good game regardless. But just the fact that you had a clear attempt to kill the best player from blue and from red was insane. And teal expected it too. Like, he knew what was coming. He's like, okay, they're going to double me. Just send me resources and I'll make a defensive castle. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.